Now if I go back to the preview and test, I can then also, if this has been enabled, by default you can see that the edit page content button here is grayed out by default. That's because it's off on every survey by default, but I can have this turned on if I have access to the build and edit tool. So I'm going to go in to the build and edit tool, click on my survey settings, go to manage survey, and I'm going to turn on this option labeled allow text edits while testing. So if I toggle this on, go back to my testing tools, I'll refresh here. Now the option is available. Now this option is again only available to folks who have a Cmix login and are logged in. The reason for that is because if somebody is not logged in or they don't have a login to the system at all, there's no way for us to log this transaction or this activity. Because what this is going to allow me to do is if I click on, so I'm on Q5, just got a blank response option here. I can click on edit page content, and right now there's nothing available here, but if I go back to my build and edit tool for Q5, I can show you the specific use case. It has to have content by default is really what the scenario is. So if I have some text in here and I'll put in some text here, and if I go to my preview and test, I'll refresh. So now I have content. I just made that up. I can click on the edit page content, and now you can see Q5 question text. I can update that to whatever that should be. Do you like this product? And the response option is only one, so I'll say yes. Now it says it's updated after I clicked on update content and close out. The screen will refresh, so now I have actually updated the text for both the question text and the response option while I'm testing my survey. The reason why the option is off by default is because in theory you could have multiple people testing the survey at the same time, and if myself or a colleague are testing at the same time and both make edits to the content at the same time, most likely this is not going to be the case, but there's going to be some at least seconds in between the updates. But in theory, if we're both in here, we both go to make edit page content option changes here. Whoever saved their update last will be the one who ultimately gets their content saved in the question. So if I was there first, I made my updates, but within a very close proximity of time, colleague comes in, clicks on that button, they make edits too, maybe because either A, I haven't saved it while they clicked on the edit button or something in that of that nature. They might still see the blank content or content that's incorrect because my save hasn't happened yet, or they haven't refreshed because of when they landed on the page. They might not see it, so they might enter text that might be different than what I entered in. So that is the reason why it's off by default. I would say it is a good feature. I would say to proceed with caution with it, and or at least make sure to be in constant communication with the folks who might be internally testing and providing feedback or using this feature with you. So maybe, let's say, plan it ahead of time so that if my colleague, I know, hey, can you start testing this survey at 10 a.m., please. I will be away from it, so you can go in and make your updates or changes or what have you. You could do it that way. Again, you do not have to use this feature. Again, it is off by default. You can turn it on if you want to, or you can just utilize the task feature to just have that communication back and forth instead of using this edit page content. Another use case would be maybe I turn it on while I am the primary programmer. I make the content changes myself. I don't tell anybody, or I've not shared the content, the link, the survey testing link with anybody else yet. And I make my edits while I am physically testing. And then I turn it back off so that my colleagues do not have this feature, because I give them the testing link later on in the day, maybe the next day. So I'll turn off the functionality. I've made it and used it the way I see fit, turn it off, and then provide the link to colleagues to test. Also another option there too.